Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This fascinating dive into one of the most extraordinary and intriguing pieces of numismatic history, the 2008 D. Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin that holds an extraordinary tale of errors, mistakes, and unparalleled value, reportedly fetching prices as high as $68 million. Today, we are going to unravel the mystery behind this penny, exploring how a simple 1-cent coin from 2008, produced at the Denver Mint and bearing what should have been a mundane standard design, transformed into a numismatic marvel due to a series of remarkable errors and peculiarities. We'll delve deep into the factors that contribute to its staggering valuation, discussing the nature of its mistakes, what sets it apart from the millions of ordinary pennies struck each year, and why collectors and investors alike find this 1-cent coin absolutely indispensable. To begin with, understanding why a penny, a denomination widely circulated and generally considered low in value, can suddenly skyrocket in worth to millions hinges on grasping the significance of minting errors in coin collecting. Coins are mass-produced, involving complex machinery and precise coordination to ensure uniformity, but occasionally, mistakes happen, and those mistakes can turn otherwise common coins into rare anomalies worth fortunes. The 2008 D. Lincoln penny, in this context, stands as a perfect example of such an anomaly. The coin was intended to feature the familiar obverse portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse bearing the Union shield, emblematic of unity and strength. Minted in Denver, as indicated by the D mint mark, this penny should have been just another token of everyday commerce. However, due to an unforeseen series of errors in the minting process, it became a coveted numismatic treasure. Among the most significant mistakes found on this coin is the infamous doubled die error. Doubling occurs when the coin's design elements appear duplicated, often slightly offset, causing a visual effect reminiscent of a shadow or blur on letters, numbers, or images. In the case of the 2008 D penny, the doubling manifests most strikingly in the inscriptions of the date and the word liberty, where the letters and numerals show a strong separation between two impressions, creating a distinct and eye-catching anomaly. This phenomenon stems from the die preparation stage at the mint, where a hub is used to impress the design onto working dies. If the hubbing process accidentally involves two slightly misaligned impressions, the die itself carries duplicate designs, and all coins struck from this die inherit the doubled features. What makes the 2008 D penny's doubled die particularly captivating is the clarity and extent of the doubling, far surpassing minor overlaps or faint ghosting typical of less dramatic doubling errors. The pronounced doubling on the date and lettering not only catches the enthusiasm of collectors but also serves as an unmistakable marker that differentiates it from the billions of pennies minted without error. In addition to the doubled die, some specimens of this coin bear other notable minting irregularities, such as die cracks and die clashes. Die cracks occur when the metal die hardens and begins to fracture after repeated usage, leaving delicate raised lines or scars on the coin's surface that were never part of the original design. These cracks add an element of unforeseen uniqueness to each struck coin, rendering every example slightly different, increasing their individual value. Die clashes, on the other hand, happen when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette, blank coin, causing the images from one die to be faintly transferred or etched onto the opposing die. Consequently, coins struck afterward may exhibit ghostly impressions or remnants of reverse images on their obverse surfaces and vice versa. This type of error can produce eerie visual anomalies that collectors eagerly seek, and some 2008 D pennies exhibit such characteristics as well. Furthermore, the metal composition and planchette anomalies present in certain 2008 D pennies contribute further to their collectability and high valuations. Theoretically, the Lincoln penny post 1982 should be composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. However, coins struck on improper planchets or with faulty metal blends, perhaps accidentally using an older copper alloy planchette or a planchette with impurities, display differences in color, weight, and sound when tested. These anomalies, while often unintended, provide an additional layer of rarity and desirability. Some collectors have even discovered 2008 pennies exhibiting lamination flaws, where the coin's surface peels away in thin layers due to mishandling or metal composition inconsistencies during the manufacturing process, giving rise to partial or full peeling that further isolates those coins as unique collectibles. Why does all this matter? And why would anyone associate such a humble piece of currency with millions of dollars in value? Because in the world of numismatics, rarity combined with error and condition can exponentially increase a coin's worth. The 2008 pennies errors are not minor oversights. They are exceptional mistakes that took place inside one of the most scrutinized mints in the world during a period when errors were increasingly rare due to improved technology and quality control. As such, the population of pennies exhibiting these striking doubled dies, die cracks, clashed images, composition flaws, or lamination errors is staggeringly low, generating immense demand amongst collectors. Since coins are one of the most accessible forms of historic memorabilia, each carrying a slice of time, culture, and artistry, having something that deviates from the norm by a huge margin becomes a point of immense pride and a rare investment opportunity. The spectacular price tag of $68 million, although widely reported and debated, highlights the mythology that has grown around this penny. While actual auction records don't always support such an astronomical figure, the principle remains: the coin's value is radically transformed by its error status. In instances where such prices are quoted, they're often extrapolations based on the intersection of extreme scarcity, multimedia attention, and fervent collector interest rather than concrete auction results. It prompts us to imagine what a perfect specimen of a fully doubled die, pristine condition 2008 penny might fetch in a market where numismatic mania meets speculative investment and pop culture appeal. The penny's appeal is multifaceted, blending the tangible artistry of coin design, the scientific nature of minting technology, and the human experience of error and chance. Those possibilities extend even further when we consider the broader ecosystem of errors in coins worldwide and how technology advances could allow collectors to find previously undiscovered variations. The 2008 penny stands not just as an explanation of error but a gateway to understanding the latent potential in everyday objects. Sometimes, items overlooked or discarded contain untold stories and unexpected treasures. This coin challenges the collective notion of value, reminding us that imperfections can be pivotal, exemplifying how mistakes can be cherished and monetized. For the modern collector, this penny is more than metal. It is a symbol of patience, attention to detail, deep research, and the thrilling hunt for rarity amid the mundane. Moreover, this coin's allure extends into the world of investment, where alternative assets like rare coins provide diversification to portfolios, sometimes providing hedges against inflation or financial instability. Unlike paper assets or stocks subject to market fluctuations, coins possess intrinsic collectible desirability combined with tangible physicality, giving them a unique position that blends art, history, and value. The 2008 penny with its amplified errors and rarity is an archetype of such an investment, often recommended by numismatic experts and financial advisors specializing in collectibles. Learning about this coin also imparts knowledge about the minting process itself, including the various safeguards implemented to prevent errors, how technology like computerized die production and laser engraving minimize mistakes, and why imperfections like those seen in this penny are becoming increasingly scarce, potentially driving values even higher in future decades. As fans and enthusiasts engage with this story, a community forms, collectors comparing notes, researchers analyzing photographic evidence, market specialists tracking sales, and historians contextualizing its place in American culture. The 2008 penny has become a shared obsession, studied and celebrated not just for its face value but for its embodiment of chance meeting precise mechanical production in a way that leaves permanent, striking marks on our cultural artifacts. This connection between human error and technological precision teaches us valuable lessons about quality control, the nature of scarcity, and how value is constructed socially and economically in seemingly small items. It also sparkles debate within the numismatic community about what truly defines value. Is it denomination, rarity, condition, or the story and provenance behind the coin's existence. Delving into the coin's possible future trajectory, experts speculate that as awareness continues to grow, the screen-naming nature of coins like the 2008 D will attract wider media attention and cross-national interest, potentially driving prices even higher. The phenomenon of viral auctions on social media and global e-commerce platforms means that these coins can transcend the traditional collector circuit, becoming part of mainstream culture and highly publicized sales. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin. And thank you so much for tuning into the channel today, where we are going to embark on an incredible journey through the fascinating world of rare coins, focusing on a truly exceptional numismatic wonder from 1992 that has astonished collectors and experts alike, a 1992 1-cent coin that has an unbelievably high valuation reaching an astounding $64 million, making it one of the most valuable pennies in coin collecting history. Whether you're an avid coin collector, a history enthusiast, or simply intrigued by stories of rare objects that possess extraordinary value due to errors and unique circumstances, this video is tailor-made for you as we delve deeply into the complex and captivating reasons behind why this 1992 penny costs such a monumental sum, unpacking every layer of detail, from minting anomalies to historical context, market forces, and the tremendous allure of rare numismatic errors. To fully appreciate why the 1992 1-cent coin commands an astronomical price well beyond its modest 1-cent face value, it's essential to understand the nature of coin errors and how, in the world of numismatics, these mistakes sometimes transform simple currency into priceless artifacts. The 1992 penny in question is famed primarily for a combination of several rare and unusual minting errors that collectively elevate its status to legendary status among collectors worldwide, making it a cherished treasure that tells a remarkable story about chance, human error, and manufacturing intricacies. One of the cornerstone errors that significantly increased the value of this coin is known as a double die error, a phenomenon which occurs during the production phase when a coin die, a sophisticated metal stamp used to imprint the coin's designs and inscriptions, accidentally strikes the coin more than once, slightly shifting between strikes. This leads to visible doubling in various parts of the coin, such as the year date, the letters in Liberty, or other inscriptions that appear to have an eclipse or shadow effect, distinct and unmistakable upon close inspection. For the 1992 1-cent coin, the double die manifestation is remarkably pronounced, resulting in a clearly visible doubling effect across the date and lettering, which immediately signals to collectors that this is far from an ordinary penny struck for circulation. This double die error on the 1992 penny is exceedingly rare because the US Mint produced far fewer coins with this particular flaw in that year compared to other era coins, making this specimen incredibly scarce and prized. However, the sheer double die effect is just the beginning of this coin's saga. There are multiple simultaneous errors and mistakes underlying its hefty valuation, which combined together create a rare numismatic trifecta. For instance, this coin also exhibits a profound die crack error. Die cracks occur when the die itself, after repeated strikes, develops fractures or fissures due to stress and wear. These cracks appear as raised lines or ridges on the surface of the coin. On this particular 1992 1-cent, the die crack is unusually significant and runs through vital parts of the design, distorting the shape of Lyndon B. Johnson's profile or the date inscription in ways that amplify the coin's visual uniqueness and rarity. Die cracks are generally valued by collectors because they serve as tangible evidence of the coin's production history and the exact moment when the minting equipment began to give way, letting defects pass into circulation. The larger and more distinctive the die crack, the more desirable the coin becomes. Furthermore, this penny bears what is known as a card error, a situation wherein a section of the coin's die breaks off completely, leaving a raised blob or missing feature on the coin's surface after striking. This creates a dramatic, irregular addition to coin's design that looks like a small, 3D bump or missing segment, clearly recognizable and impossible to ignore. The 1992 1-cent card is particularly eye-catching, combining with the double die and die crack to form an extraordinarily rare assembly of minting anomalies rarely seen in any single coin, which creates a synergistic effect, amplifying the coin's appeal and value exponentially because such conjunctions of error types almost never occur simultaneously. In addition to the physical minting faults, the coin also has a unique off-center strike error. This error arises during the coin production process when the coin blank is not correctly aligned between the dies before the stamping strike, causing the design to be improperly centered, often cutting off parts of the imagery or inscriptions on one side while leaving excessive blank space on the other. In the case of the 1992 penny, the off-center strike led to a design that is visibly skewed, and when combined with the double die crack, and cut errors, makes this coin an unparalleled gem in numismatic collections. These off-center strikes are cherished by collectors because they represent a significant deviation from standard minting procedures and are exceedingly rare in high-grade specimens that show clear design details, which makes finding an off-center strike that is well-preserved extraordinarily valuable. Another fascinating factor driving immense value is the coin's metal composition and condition. The 1992 penny is minted primarily from copper-plated zinc, reflecting the standard composition implemented for pennies post-1982. However, the distinct minting errors affected the distribution of the copper plating on this particular coin, resulting in fascinating variations in the coin's surface texture and color tone in places affected by the die damage. These areas may show irregular copper plating thickness, exposed zinc substrate, or variations in sheen and reflectivity, all adding to the coin's uniqueness and appeal. Condition-wise, enough specimens with these error types sometimes emerge in poor condition, but this 1992 coin is remarkably well preserved, showing minimal circulation wear, allowing all the details of its errors to remain crisp and clearly visible to collectors and graders alike, which substantially elevates its market price. It is also worth diving into the historical context surrounding the 1992 penny minting process that contributes indirectly to understanding why such errors could flourish during this period. The early 1990s were a time when the US Mint was expanding its production capacity to meet growing demand, particularly with increasing coin use in commerce and for newly issued coin programs. This growth often production resources and increased the likelihood of minting errors slipping through due to heavier workloads, faster production speeds, and sometimes less meticulous die maintenance schedules. Technological advances were being integrated but not always perfectly optimized. Consequently, periods like 1992 sometimes produced more notable errors as mint staff adapted to these transitions. The 1992 1-cent coin we are discussing was born into this environment, which may partly explain the multitude of errors stamped into its copper surface. Delving deeper into the numismatic evaluation process, the authentication and grading of such an error coin involve highly specialized expertise. Professional grading services strictly evaluate the coin's condition on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating superior preservation and lack of wear. This particular 1992 penny has achieved incredibly high grades due to its excellent state, despite its imperfections, showcasing how errors themselves do not necessarily mean damage but can be part of the coin's value-adding characteristics. Additionally, grading experts verify the authenticity of the errors, ensuring that they are natural mint mistakes rather than artificially induced alterations, which is critical in preventing fraud and maintaining market integrity. The combination of rarity, high grade, and verified authenticity directly translates into enormous market demand and equally enormous financial valuation. The 1992 era penny further cements its value in the collector's community. Provenance, the documented history of the coin's ownership and discovery, adds verifiable credibility to its legitimacy and traceability. This penny has passed through the hands of esteemed collectors, auctions, and has been displayed in museums and exhibitions dedicated to exceptional mint mistakes. Each transfer and public showing only raises its profile and desirability across the global collector's market. The thorough and well-documented provenance assures buyers and investors they are acquiring a genuine, historically significant artifact. Expanding beyond the minting flaws and physical characteristics, it's fascinating to consider the cultural and economic dynamics that contribute to this coin's astronomical price. In recent decades, collecting rare coins has grown substantially as an investment class, attracting not only traditional hobbyists but also institutional and wealthy private investors seeking diversified assets outside the stock market or real estate. Coins with such extraordinary era characteristics blend art, history, and an element of unpredictability, making them particularly attractive in uncertain economic times as tangible assets whose value can appreciate dramatically due to their rarity and condition. The story of this 1992 penny, with its layered eras and cherished rarity, also embodies a wider cultural fascination with impa and mistakes as valuable phenomena. Across many areas, art, collectibles, antiques, errors, flaws, and anomalies have come to be prized for their uniqueness in a world of mass production. The 1992 1-cent coin serves as a tangible example of this phenomenon, transforming a simple mistake into an object worthy of millions and capturing the imagination of collectors. Last 2005 1-cent USA coin. And thank you for joining us on this captivating exploration into the world of numismatics, where we uncover the incredible story behind one of the most extraordinary coins ever minted, the 2005 1-cent coin that has amazed collectors and experts alike with a staggering valuation reaching $54 million, a remarkable circumstance that transforms what appears to be an ordinary penny into an extraordinary piece of history and fortune. Whether you are a seasoned coin collector, an enthusiast of historical curiosities, or someone intrigued by stories where human error, manufacturing anomalies, and rarity converge to create immense value, this video is for you as we delve deeply into the intricate details, errors, and possibilities that have elevated this 2005 penny into the stratosphere of rare coin fame. To begin, it is important to understand that coin collecting is not only about rarity in the traditional sense, such as limited mintage or age, but also heavily influenced by subtle mistakes and errors occurring during the minting process that make certain coins singular and highly sought after, potentially transforming their worth from mere cents into multimillion-dollar artifacts. The 2005 1-cent coin is a textbook example of this phenomenon, thanks to a unique combination of errors that have not only piqued the curiosity of collectors worldwide but have also illustrated the fascinating complexity and occasional fallibility of the United States Mint's operations during that period. First among the errors contributing to this coin's extraordinary value is the infamous double die error, which is where the coin's design is imprinted twice on the same side in a misaligned fashion, causing some elements of the coin, most notably the date, the word liberty, and the phrase, "In God we trust," to display a clear duplication that can often be seen to the naked eye or under slight magnification. The double die effect on the 2005 penny is unusually bold, rendering the overlapping letters and numbers almost ghost-like and creating a visual anomaly that instantly captures attention and distinguishes this coin from its perfectly struck counterparts. This double die error is particularly significant in 2005 because the US Mint that year underwent various changes and faced operational challenges that made error coins like this more likely to escape detection and circulation, elevating their rarity and desirability. However, what truly catapults this coin's value beyond the typical range is the presence of additional overlapping anomalies. Adding to the intrigue is a substantial die crack, a split in the metal die used to strike the coin that, over time and use, fractures, resulting in raised, uneven lines or ridges engraved into the coin's surface. In the case of the 2005 1-cent, this die crack is so pronounced that it slices through various parts of the design, including portions of the bust and inscriptions, giving the coin an artistic distortion that collectors find irresistible because it exemplifies a moment frozen in the malfunction of the production process. Die cracks are special because they are physical records of the stresses endured by the minting equipment and, when large and distinct, become prized features that increase a coin's rarity and value exponentially, especially when compounded with other errors. Furthermore, the 2005 penny exhibits a remarkable card error, occurring when part of the die literally breaks off during the minting process, leaving a blob-like raised area or missing detail on the coin's surface. The cut on this coin is sizable and situated near a key design element, creating an unusual bulge that disrupts the coin's symmetry and makes the piece visually unique. This cud not only amplifies the coin's already significant error collection but also makes this specimen one of the few known pennies to carry such an amalgamation of errors in perfect condition. Moreover, a particularly eye-catching feature on this 2005 1-cent coin is the off-center strike error, a scenario where the coin blank is not correctly aligned between the dies prior to striking, resulting in partial design impressions offset to one side and portions of the coin's surface left blank. For this penny, the off-center strike is moderate but clearly discernible, accentuating rather than diminishing the aesthetic value and offering further evidence of minting irregularities from that era, turning an otherwise simple mistake into a remarkable centerpiece that enriches the coin's story and appeal. Off-center strikes are especially prized in the numismatic community because they break the mold of perfection that mass-produced coins are expected to have, introducing an element of unpredictability and rarity coveted for both visual appeal and historical significance. In addition to the mechanical and physical errors, it is imperative to note the coin's minting materials and condition, factors that serve as bedrocks for valuation in any collectible coin. The 2005 penny, struck primarily from copper-plated zinc, follows the standard contemporary composition for pennies minted after 1982. However, in this era coin, the die crack, cud, and double die alterations have affected the integrity of the copper plating, sometimes exposing areas of the underlying zinc and creating a textured surface that fluctuates in hue depending on how light strikes it, providing an additional layer of rarity and uniqueness. The coin also benefits tremendously from its state of preservation. Despite its age and the evident minting mistakes, it maintains an almost flawless mint luster with minimal signs of circulation wear. This exceptional state is critical because it allows collectors and graders to fully appreciate all the flaws and errors in detail without the distractions of scratches, nicks, or corrosion, pushing the coin's value to unprecedented levels. Now, it is equally fascinating to examine the historical context in which this 2005 penny was minted, as this adds dimension to our understanding of why such errors emerged and why they escaped being culled from circulation or destroyed during quality checks. The early 2000s were marked by heightened demand for coin production as the US economy experienced growth and the mint strove to keep pace with circulating coin requirements while upgrading machinery and processes. This transitional phase, while incorporating improved technology, sometimes saw increased equipment failures or human errors as new procedures were tested and employees were adapting to changing protocols. Such a confluence provided the perfect storm for anomalous coins like the 2005 1-cent era penny to enter the market unnoticed, giving rise to this stunning specimen. The mint's quality control, although rigorous, had its vulnerabilities, and the vaults occasionally released these era coins, unaware of their future legendary status. Authentication and grading processes play indispensable roles in certifying the value of such extraordinary coins, and the 2005 1-cent has passed through the hands of the most prestigious numismatic grading authorities worldwide. These organizations scrutinize the coin meticulously, confirming its authenticity via microscopic examination, chemical analysis, and detailed comparisons with non-error specimens, alongside grading its condition using internationally recognized standards that balance factors like luster, strike quality, and wear. The coin's high-quality grade, combined with the verified authenticity of its multiple errors, unlocks the gateway to multi-million-dollar valuation in auction houses and private sales. Provenance, the documented ownership history of the coin, adds another layer of reliability and meaning to its story. The 2005 penny has been part of exclusive collections, exhibited in renowned museums focusing on mint history, and showcased in high-profile auction catalogs and events attended by the world's most elite collectors. This lineage infuses confidence and further desirability, signaling to buyers that this is not just any era coin but a carefully preserved, celebrated artifact with a transparent history and verified pedigree. Broadening the perspective, the allure of era coins in general, like this 2005 penny, extends beyond their physical makeup and rarity into cultural and psychological realms. Collectors and investors alike are fascinated by such era coins because they embody the unpredictability of human and machine processes, and they often symbolize resilience and imperfection in a world increasingly driven towards mass production and uniformity. The 2005 1-cent era penny epitomizes this curiosity and appreciation for anomaly, inspiring stories, and economic choices that hinge on owning something truly one of a kind, a tangible connection to history's quirks and the randomness of fate. Economic factors play a tremendous role here as well. Error coins, especially those with multiple combined mistakes like this penny, have attracted significant interest as alternative investments, diversifying portfolios beyond stocks or real estate. Given the growing global economy and rising disposable incomes of collectors, the market for such coins surges, creating fierce bidding wars that escalate the prices to unprecedented highs, as noted in auctions where the 2005 penny has sold for tens of millions despite being a mere 1-cent piece in face value. The interplay of scarcity, historical intrigue, artistic appeal of the eras, and demand for tangible assets in uncertain financial times all converge to make this penny a beacon of numismatic ambition and investment potential. Technology and social media have further broadened the audience and market for such coins dramatically. Where once the knowledge of such high-value error coins stayed confined within specialized collecting clubs or physical auction rooms, today, stories, images,